Picture this: golden beaches, world-famous food, and some of the most beautiful landmarks in Africa. From the flavors of jollof rice and plantain to the history and heritage of Osu Castle, Ghana is waiting for you. And the best part, entering is simple. You can enter for as low as £2 or...
All right. Welcome to Pan-African Perspectives, your bi-weekly live stream where we talk about all things Africa related. We have a very, very big announcement to make today. If you can't tell from the video you just watched, we have a big announcement. And I have a special guest that's going to be joining us to help us talk about the announcement. Margaret Debrah from EATO. What's up, Margaret?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Joe.
Hello. So we've had this announcement on the back burner for a little while, a couple of weeks. I had teased it a little bit to the folks that are out there that there's a potential announcement coming. I've been excited to share it with folks. Obviously, we have this contest for your chance to get a all expense paid trip to Ghana. But before we get into the details of it, we're going to watch some videos from last year's winner. I got a chance to meet her while I was there. We should probably start with some intros so people know who we are. For those of you who are new to the live stream, I'm Joe Hatagwa. I am the founder of Authentic African. We help people visit, move, and invest in Africa. And we do these live streams multiple times weekly to give people updates and an understanding of what it is to visit, move, and invest on the continent and what happens in the news on the continent, so you understand what's happening in places that you're planning to go. Today, we have the co-founder of EATO, Margaret Debrah, to help us kick this off. But Margaret, maybe we want to give a little bit of a background on yourself, a little bit of an intro so people know who you are. We've interviewed Margaret before the live stream and on another video, but in case you haven't gotten a chance to meet her, we want to give her a chance to introduce herself. So please, Margaret.
Yes. So hi everyone. Thanks for having me again, Joe. So yeah, I'm Margaret. I am the founder of EATO, and ultimately what we are building at EATO is a media platform, and we showcase African food, African culture through high quality content, so recipe videos, lifestyle videos. Our purpose is really to educate our audience on, discovering the best flavors Africa has to offer, as well as discovering brands, etc., that they would be interested in purchasing. So that's EATO in a nutshell. We also have a cookbook out. So for anyone that loves cooking, and if you appreciate a hard copy book, you definitely want to get EATO Presents Flavors of Africa, which is our cookbook, and it is available to deliver in the US, the UK, and Europe, as well as Ghana. Yeah.
Nice. So now we've gotten a chance to tell your story on a couple of occasions. We met you over a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, on the live stream, maybe 2 years ago or more, actually.
Yeah.
And we were talking about EATO and where you were at that point in time. And then we met in Ghana for the first time in person. And we did an interview where we talked about where you were then. And it just so happens that last December I was in Ghana. You said to me that you had done this contest last year, and the winner had arrived. And you had done a bunch of activities during the day, and she was looking for nightlife stuff to do, right? And so I happened to be around, and there was a bunch of things that I was going to. So we met up and we got a chance to go around, and it was actually really cool to see her experience, her first time in Ghana. With EATO. Right?
Yeah.
So can you talk about how the contest came to be and what you were like, how, and what do we do up to this point, right? So you've obviously done it before. You've had somebody come to the continent on your dime and through this contest. So let's explain what the contest, how it came to be, and what happened last year.
Yeah, so I guess with what we're building at EATO, community is a very big thing to us. And what we've realized over the years is that because we're a digital platform, we don't really get to allow people to experience what we have to offer in person. So we decided as an organization that every year we would host a competition depending on how many entrants we got, and ultimately we would invite a winner or winners to Ghana, and we'll literally immerse them in Ghanaian culture. And it really does start with food, because if you're Ghanaian, you know how much we love our cuisine, whether it's jollof rice, through to football, etc. So we wanted the competition to be a way of like really getting our global audience to participate, because for some of these people, you know, we may never even get a chance to see them. And then for the lucky winners, you come to Ghana, and then it's just, you know, 5 days of spending it with the EATO team. So we look after you, you know, we take you. So for instance, Tamara's experience last year was our first run of the competition, and we flew her in from the USA. So she flew in from, I think it's Houston, Texas. Sorry, I'm really bad with all the states. So we flew her into Accra, and it was her first time coming to Accra. And I remember even leading up to it, you know, when we were just talking to Tamara about the things she would need, such as her visa, etc. It was actually a beautiful moment, because, you know, what's the likeliness of you being able to win a competition to Ghana? It's just something that doesn't happen. And if you think about other organizations that exist, you know, a holiday to an African country is just not on the agenda. Even if you think about some of your biggest airlines, let's just say they're running a competition. And I think that's the beauty of what we're building at EATO. We really are building for the culture. We know within our organization, there's going to be some individuals that, you know, they appreciate the recipe videos, they appreciate the lifestyle content, but they don't have the budget to come to Accra. And that's just because of the way the world is at the moment. So I mean, whilst we can't fly everyone because we just don't have that budget, I think it's just such a nice thing to, you know, at least if we can get one person every year over to Accra to experience Ghanaian African culture. I mean, I feel we would have done our job. And for those that don't get selected, we do, you know, because EATO is a digital platform, we record the whole experience. So even though you may not be there in person, you can ultimately follow the experience online as well. So yeah, that's how it came about. And yeah, I was really nervous last year because I thought, you know, we had some issue, like I had some family issues. So I wasn't in Accra until later into Tamara's trip, but the EATO team were there. And you were amazing because, you know, I was quite conscious that Tamara was coming by herself. So then I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do during the evening time? Because our staff would have to go home, etc. And then Joe was in town as well. And I knew Joe, I knew you would be outside.
That's in December, I'm outside.
Yeah, you were. So it actually worked out. So yeah, that's kind of how the competition came about.
Yes, absolutely. And so, I met up with Tamara, and she was telling me about her experiences throughout the day and how much fun she was having. And, I think I invited her along to the Beanie Man concert, the Busta Rhymes concert. There was a few other things that she ended up going to, some things that I went to, some things that I didn't go to. But I could tell she was having the time of her life. It was a lot of fun. Experiencing Ghana in December is not something that everybody gets a chance to do. And it is expensive for some, to be able to fly out. It's something I do every year, but I know that it's not for everyone. And so the fact that you were doing this contest, I thought this is the exact kind of thing I want to be involved with, right? I saw Tamara's experience, like I said, and all the things that we were just talking about. My audience, the number one thing that they, especially on Instagram, that they've been focused on is traveling to the continent. People on YouTube have probably already traveled, many of those followers, but on Instagram, travel has been the number one thing people have been thinking about. And so that was why I wanted to partner with you on this and to share this with our audience and make sure that people are aware that they can enter for their chance to go to Ghana. Now on that, I do want to maybe share a little bit from last year. There was a couple of videos that we have on the EATO.AuthenticAfrican.com page. It's live now. So, but yeah, if we go there, we can see some of the videos. I would love to. They're a little bit small, so it's hard. I don't know if people are going to be able to see this, but this gives you at least a gist of how it went. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show you all what occurred last December. So we'll start with Tamara's arrival, and then maybe we'll do a couple more of these other events that she was able to go to and see.
Hey guys, welcome to our Win a Holiday to Ghana 2025 experience with EATO. Our winner, Tamara, flew in from Texas and landed in Ghana on the 24th of December, kicking off her trip right here in Accra. From the airport, it was straight to check-in at Central Hotel Ridge, Accra. At EATO, we keep things simple and intentional. We picked Central Hotel Ridge, Accra because it's clean, comfortable, well located, and affordable. Exactly the kind of place that makes sense for how our community travels across Africa. Most of you are Gen Z and millennials. You want quality, good sleep, good service, and still have room in the budget to enjoy the city, the food, and the culture. Central Hotel Ridge fit the brief perfectly. This was just the start of Tamara's Ghana experience.
So can you talk about the airport pickup and all of that, right? Because I know I'm used to going to Ghana and I get an Uber and go to wherever I'm that's usually how I do it. So what does that look like when people arrive, for those who aren't used to going to different countries? Because I know that there's a potential for someone to win who's never left the country, right? And so let's talk about like that experience. Pick them up at the hotel. Picking them up at the airport and taking them into the hotel and what that looks like from when they arrive.
Yeah, so again, luckily for us at EATO, I'm Ghanaian, so I'm very kind of like, I know what services are on the ground for us to leverage for our community. So when it comes to the winner, ultimately we know that for a lot of the winners, they probably don't have a clue. They probably never traveled to Africa. So because they've never traveled to Africa, there's some, I wouldn't say it's a difficult place to travel to, but it's a place where you just need to be informed. So what we do at EATO is, rather than leaving the winner to kind of figure it out, we basically make arrangements with the VIP service at the airport, which people can pay for. It's you just need the money really to pay for it. And what happens is that person ultimately picks Tamara up from the aircraft, helps her, guides her through. What's the name when you go through immigration? Sorry, immigration.
Immigration, yes.
Guides her through immigration, gets her suitcase, and then ultimately the hotel, so our hotel sponsor, arranges for a car to pick Tamara up from the hotel. And then this way for EATO, it ensures that the guest arrives, they're safe, and they're with us, because again, we don't want anything to happen to our winners whilst they're in Ghana. But for the most part, Ghana is a safe African country. You're not going to experience things like we're seeing in South Africa. It just would never happen in Ghana. So yeah, so literally we just ensure that we just have the right people on the ground to collect the winners, and then ultimately we arrange for transport to the hotel. And then, as you saw in the video, Tamara checked into Central Hotel Ridge on her experience. So yeah, that's it when it comes to pickup.
Concierge level service. I think that's really important because I've been to 6 African countries, and everyone's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I will say, it's always helpful when you're a first-time traveler, especially if you're a first-time traveler outside the country, because as I mentioned, there may be folks who've never traveled outside the country that can win. And so, you don't know what the process is like going through immigration in another country. Yeah. So having a concierge service walk you through that whole process, so it's seamless, you don't have to think about it, and you can just exit and be on your way to the hotel that you're staying in, I think is clutch and really important. I do want to really quickly show another video from the experiences, just so people can get an idea of some of what the experiences might look like. And then from there, you can, we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like for those who are planning to come. And then we'll talk about how to enter, because I know that's what everybody's wondering, but I want to make sure people can see what to expect. So again, on the website, EATO.AuthenticAfrican.com, You can watch these videos in their entirety. We're not going to go through every single one of these, but you'll get a chance to see the videos from last year, and you'll see Tamara's experience. And again, I got a chance to meet up with Tamara. It was a great experience. She told me so much about what she gained from it. But let's quickly play another video, and then we'll have some more commentary.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Win a Holiday to Ghana experience with EATO. Built for our community, curated with intention. Ruki pulled up to collect Tamara from Central Hotel Ridge, Accra. Clean, comfortable, and perfectly located in the heart of the city. And just like that, day one began. At EATO, this competition has never been about simply winning a trip. We want it to feel like a real experience, shaped by how our community actually travels. Places that make sense, spaces that feel easy, partners that let the city flow naturally around you. From the hotel, we headed out for lunch at Polo Beach Club, a relaxed afternoon spot. Good food, coastal views, and that laid-back Accra energy. After lunch, a slow walk along the Body Beach, a local musician nearby, waves rolling in, the city moving at its own pace. And then we let the day end exactly where it should, with the sun sinking into the ocean, light fading, noise softening, everything still.
All right, I'll leave it there because obviously there's much more to the video, but I also want you guys to watch the video on the site itself. But can we talk about some of the other activities? I mean, so that was Polo Beach Club, which I know is one of your favorite spots. Very popular spot. Yeah, it's a very popular spot in, and you guys might remember the interview I did with Kwame from Sambra City. He's also one of the guys involved in Polo Beach Club. So yeah, it is one of these spots in Accra. But yeah, beyond Polo Beach Club, some of the other things, there was a chocolate making and some of the others. Can we talk about some of the activities that Tamara did last December while she was there?
Yeah, so we actually kept all her experiences in Accra, just from because it was our first time, you know, health and safety. We just wanted her to be in the main city. So her experiences were really just to immerse her in Ghanaian culture. So as you know, Ghana is the second largest producer of cocoa. So we thought it would be really cool for her to kind of, you know, see how cocoa is being made. And there's an up and coming brand. I believe the owner, and don't quote me, but I do believe she grew up in the US and is now back in Ghana. The name of the brand is 1957 chocolate, so do Google them. But ultimately it was for them to basically kind of give Tamara a history on cocoa production, also take Tamara through how to make chocolate. So, and then at the end of it, I think she was able to take, you know, they gave her a goodie bag. So that was one of the experiences. And then she also visited where did she go again? Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and then Kwame Nkrumah Museum, and I'm sure you mentioned him many times. And then what else did she do? And then it was just other sightseeing things. I mean, guys, I don't want to ruin it and just tell you on this live. I think you should go and check out each and every video so you can see for yourself. But ultimately, it really was immersing her in Ghanaian culture. And then we also allowed her to taste local cuisine. So, you know, fufu and soup, jollof rice. You know, for someone like Tamara, who has never been to Africa and is actually, her background is Caribbean, it was just a nice way to introduce her into the culture. So yeah, it was just a range of activities centered around Ghanaian culture.
Absolutely. And as more people are pouring in, I just want to make sure everybody is aware, those of you who are just joining, we are talking about the announcement of me partnering, Authentic African partnering, I should say, with EATO on this Win a Holiday to Ghana contest. Really excited to be a part of this, just because, like I said, I got a chance to experience it firsthand. The second half, like the second half of the day, from last year's winner, And just hearing from her about the experience made me want to be more involved. So, I was talking to Margaret about this maybe a month ago, and we figured out how we could join forces and combine, our efforts to make this thing happen. So,
and I was really glad when you reached out, because from my perspective, I feel like, EATO, we've done a great job in putting the first one out, but Joe, everything you're building at Authentic African, it's been amazing for me to even sit and witness. And from my perspective, I think this is what we should be doing, collaborating more rather than everyone kind of doing the same thing independently. So when you reached out, there was just no doubt. I just said, come on, let's just partner on this. There's no point of, you doing your separate things. I'm really glad we're in a position to do this. And I would like to say this is God's grace, because what are the chances that you were the person that I told to help me entertain Tamara during her experience? And then now this year we're partnering on the Win a Holiday to Ghana competition. So again, everything by God's grace.
Nothing happens by accident, as they say. Yeah, I mean, look, I agree 100%. When I was, because I had been approached, and I'd mentioned this to you, and for those who are watching, I had been approached by someone to do a contest, and enter for your chance to win a trip to Ghana. Yeah. And I would have had to curate the entire experience myself, and knowing how my time and my limited availability tends to work out, it was going to be very difficult to curate an experience. And so after having talked to Tamara last year, and seeing she really, really enjoyed herself, and she could not stop gushing about how the experience was. I just thought it makes sense for us to see if we can work together. So yeah, I reached out and I said, if we can work on this together, I would love to. And it just so happens that you were planning another one this year, and that you were open to me partnering with you on this. So I'm glad we were able to make that happen. So on that point, I want to get into the details of the contest, because that's what everybody's here for. How can they enter for their chance to win a free trip to, or a trip to, all expenses paid trip, I should say, to Accra, Ghana. So, so first things first, the website is EATO.AuthenticAfrican.com. I can't say it enough. EATO.AuthenticAfrican.com, right there on your screen. Competition does close on the 31st of July, 2026. It's open worldwide, and you can enter for just starting for US dollars. So all is included is return flights from your nearest international airport to Accra, Ghana, 4-star hotel, 5 nights fully covered in Accra, 5 days in Accra, curated cultural and culinary experiences, and open worldwide. Anything you want to mention in terms of the culinary experiences? I know we talked about some of these in the cultural experiences. You mentioned the Kwame Nkrumah Museum. You mentioned the chocolate making. It's going to be a 4-star hotel, which is basically the best of the best kind of hotels you have in Accra, Ghana. I got a chance to go to the hotel that was there last year. Very nice. Verandas at the rooms, all that kind of stuff. So I definitely know that EATO knows about quality, for sure. You are going to have a nice experience, for sure. There's no question about that. Where you stay is going to be backup gen, water hot, all of the things, AC cold, right? All of the things. So we can anticipate that for sure. But anything else you want to mention about the experience on the ground? I know we talked about a few already, but is there anything else you want to mention about what the experience might look like for people?
Yeah, so this year, obviously last year was our first year. So as much as we had so many amazing ideas, we had to, we had a strict budget. This year, we're hoping to go a bit further than last year. So we are partnering with a special luxury villa to give our winners the chance to experience Ghana from another location. I'm not going to announce it now, but what I will say is it's up there. Like, whoever wins this competition is going to be excited. And then on top of that, so last year we wasn't able. So EATO now has a base. So base where we shoot all of our content, the guys do production in. But last year it wasn't up and running in time for Tamara's experience. So this year the winner or / winners, depending on how many entries we get, you also will go through a cooking class with EATO. So you will be learning how to cook some of our authentic flavors with an EATO chef. So that's going to be a great experience. And then there's other things in the pipeline, but I just don't want to mention it just yet. But, wait and listen out for it. But ultimately, if you love good food, then this is definitely a competition to enter. If you love good weather, definitely a great competition to enter. And then because of the time of year, we look to fly the winners out. So it's either going to be in December or January. It's basically a very busy time in Ghana. It's referenced as Dirty December. So what that means is there's just a lot of events happening. So last year, for instance, Tamara went to a fashion show at Treehouse. That was amazing. Beanie Man was at the fashion show as well. You had local African fashion stylists, artists there. It was just amazing. I mean, I was jealous because I felt like Tamara definitely had a better experience of Ghana than the first time I went back as an adult. So it's just, honestly, guys, if I was still, I mean, I'm building EATO, so I'm always in Ghana now. But if I was someone that was curious about Ghana and, I'm feeling lucky, this is definitely a competition I definitely think you should enter, because if you win, you are going to enjoy your experience. And again, as I said, what we did with Tamara last year is she had a host, an EATO host with her. So that ultimately meant she wasn't left alone, because she was the only winner of the experience last year. So Rookie, one of the ladies at EATO, literally went round with Tamara, and it also turned out that it was Tamara's birthday during the experience.
Yep.
So she even invited Rookie out for her birthday celebration. So honestly, guys, if you haven't experienced Ghana, this is definitely a competition you want to enter. And if you have experienced Ghana, I say still enter the competition, because you haven't done it the EATO way. And with us, we're definitely all about quality, service, and just showing you a good time. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then, so to get back to the presentation, because there was so much here, but so yeah, of course, 2025, Tamara was flown out 5 days in Accra. 100% of the flight and hotel was included. Obviously she had a great experience. Now let's talk about the partnership a little bit. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but I do want to get back into this. So maybe I should turn it over to you to speak to this, because this is part of the reason why you wanted to partner with me, right? So maybe let me turn it over to you to talk through this particular slide.
Yeah, so I think from EATO's perspective, for us, when it comes to the food and when it comes to what we offer, we understand the culture. We definitely understand the food, and we know this is something we want everyone to experience. For us, we feel African flavors are the best flavors out there, and we want everyone to experience. But we are still a startup, and we are still an emerging brand, so not everyone knows about EATO, and we just felt that it's so unfortunate that this experience can only go as far as we could take it to, because we feel everyone should know about this competition. And I think this is where you come in. This partnership makes so much sense, because from our perspective, what you're building at Authentic African, this media hub that's celebrating Africa, bringing the diaspora together, bringing other Africans across the continent together, it's something that should be celebrated, right? And we've seen sometimes what Western media does to try and shut platforms like you down. But from EATO's perspective, we're cheering you guys on, and I just felt like it was just a no-brainer. Your media influence, your reach, and then EATO being the ones that we understand the culture, we understand the food, we know how to serve people, right? So it was just a partnership that made sense. And I think, again, everything happens in the right time, because I think you needed to see Tamara in Ghana. You needed to see, you know, what EATO's about, and you've been able, I mean, we've been communicating for the last 2 years, and I think it's just, everything is just falling in line. So
yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I'll piggyback off of that. I mean, you know, seeing you execute on this, you know, I think was hugely important. I don't think you and I got a chance to talk about you doing this contest before you did it. So I was surprised, actually. And then so when you told me about it, I was like, oh, this is cool. So, you know, again, you know, I saw you execute it. So this isn't just an idea that I'm like, okay, I want to partner with you on an idea. I'm partnering with you on something that you've already executed. So I'm confident in your ability to execute this and execute it well. Because that's the other thing, right? I mean, there are a lot of things that people try to do in December, and, you know, Africa be African. So there things happen, right? So things happen all the time. You know, not everything happens the way you want it to. And I think it's really important that you have someone who understands what it's like to be on the ground, who has relationships to ensure that there are backup plans and things to make sure that the experience ends up being one that is an unforgettable one and one to remember for the rest of your life. So, okay, so with that, we do want to get to how to enter. So really quickly, Maureen said, hey, Joe, what's this about a free trip back to Ghana? If you got my attention. So we're going to talk about it. So this is your chance to win an all expenses paid trip to Ghana. For those of you who are just joining and are just hearing about this, Authentic African and EATO are partnering on this trip to Ghana at the end of this year or early next year, during the time where the most activity is happening in country. So how can you enter, you might ask? Well, here it is. So how to enter. There are a couple of different ways to enter. You have a basic, you have one with 5 times more chances, and then you have another one with, you also have another one with 17 times more chances. So with just $4, you get 3 entries. At $20, you get 15 entries. And at $50, you get 50 entries. So obviously that's the best value because it is $1 per entry once you get to the $50. So for $50, you could potentially get a chance to win what is close to a $3,000 to $5,000 trip, all expenses paid, for a $50 entry. Also for $4 entry too. And there's also a free option as well. You can send a letter in to the EATO office here. Details are in here and on the sales page. So you can click on EATO.AuthenticAfrican.com to get the details for the free entry. But that's 1 entry per. If you want to up your chance to get a chance to win, here are your chances. And so how is the winner drawn, Margaret? I want you to tell the people how the random drawing happens for the winner of the contests, or winners potentially.
Yeah, so basically when we hit each milestone, so our next milestone is to get 3,000 entries, then what happens is we collate all the names and the emails of everyone that's entered the competition, and then we put it into a randomizer, and ultimately that's going to select. So if we get to 3,000, the randomizer is going to select 2 names, 2 numbers, because everyone will be assigned a number, 2 numbers, and then that's the winner of the competition. So there's no human interaction other than us ensuring that we've collected all the names and put it into the randomizer tool. So that's how we pick the winner for the competition. So again, this is how we done it last year. And, you know, I think, how did Tamara even enter? Tamara entered through another, I think we went on another podcast for another show. So, you know, never had met her in my life. This was literally, you know, that was her way into understanding EATO's competition. She entered, we used the randomizer, it picked her. We reached out to her and said, hey, could you please contact us? We've got something to tell you. And then, we communicated to her that she won the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that point, there's already been a winner. So at least one person is already getting the all expense paid trip The early bird has been announced. Her name is Amma, based in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
So she will be coming to Ghana. And then here are the different milestones. So each milestone unlocks more winners. The earlier you enter, the more draws you're in. So there are 2 more people who have a chance to win once we get to 3,000 entries. 3 more once we get to 6,000 entries, and 5 more once we get to 10,000 entries. So that will be up to 11 winners total once we get to that target of 10,000 entries. So we want to try to see how many people want to enter, or how many entrants do you, how many chances do you want to win your opportunity? So obviously you can have plenty of options to up your chances to win by the different milestones, the different levels in which you enter at.
Can I just add?
Yes, please.
Last year, Tamara flew out. She had an amazing time, but this year, we've already picked the first winner, who's Amma. We want it to be a group experience. I'm so desperate for it to be a group experience. And the reason why I want it to be a group experience is because at EATO, we're all about community. And it's been beautiful. It was beautiful last year to see Tamara win the experience. Honestly, it was. But I do feel, there's a reason why God made 2. We must come together. And I think it would just be a beautiful thing if people from across different parts of the world who win this competition come together, meet in Accra, and we're able to immerse them in Ghanaian culture. So I'm really praying that we reach the milestones in order for it to be a group experience. Because honestly, I actually think the competition, it just needs to be a group experience this year. I'm praying that's the case.
Yes, and the more people that enter, the more likely it is that you can be joined by yours truly. For those of you who are subscribers, followers of the Authentic African platform, who have been trying to figure out how do we all get together for a meetup, because it's been very difficult as I move around this country and move around the continent of Africa. And sometimes I see you guys out when I'm in Sierra Leone, or I see you guys somewhere in Ghana, and I'm always on the move. This would be the opportunity for us to get to sit down and talk. But we obviously need to get to a certain number so we can ensure that I'm able to be there with you guys. So I will be in Ghana at some point in time in December, but I'd like to be able to join you all. So I do want to make mention of that it's a possibility that I could join you all if in fact we hit certain milestones. So last thing is obviously, we want you to go to EATO.AuthenticAfrican.com to enter for your chance. Any other thoughts that you want to mention to the folks about the contest itself, how to enter, anything?
Yeah, so the only thing is, for anyone who decides to enter, you need to ensure you have a passport, a valid passport that is as well, because if you don't, we cannot help you with that. And we will have to ultimately give, if you're not unable to attend, we would have to give it to another person to attend. And then another thing is, because you'll be traveling to Ghana, there are injections and things you will have to do beforehand. However, we will communicate what that is, and then you can speak to your doctor and ensure that you basically follow the correct health and safety guidelines. And then the final thing is, so if you do not hold a Ghanaian passport, if you hold an African passport, I mean, Mahama recently announced that, he's waived the visa into Ghana. But for those people that have a US passport or UK or European passport, you will need a visa. And again, we will basically support you in getting that. But these are the things you would need in place to even enter Ghana. If you don't have them, then it will be a problem. But again, we give you enough time from when the competition closes, we announce the winner, to when we basically fly you out to Ghana for us to sort that all out. We never had, we did have issues last year, but it was only because of Delta. It actually wasn't EATO's fault. It was just Delta had overbooked. So, but that was resolved. So that's the only thing I kind of want to say there. And then I guess over the next few weeks, because again, a lot of you guys probably know you know Authentic African, but you may be new to EATO. So what we're going to do over the next few weeks is we're just going to dedicate a bit more time to kind of speak about the platforms, again, speak about the competition. We're going to invite Tamara in so she can speak to you guys and kind of give you her feedback on how she found the competition. And it's really just to kind of educate people to get them comfortable. If you have any questions that you want to ask us at EATO, feel free to follow us on our social media platforms and then send us a direct message, or you can email us at info@eato.co. And then if it's not me that picks it up, it's either going to be Gabrielle or Amanda that will pick it up and pick up your question. So that's the only thing I wanted to say.
Yes, and I'll just add another thing. Muhammad did remove visa fees for all Africans, but you still have to get a visa to come in, so you don't have to pay for the visa. Okay. So when they say visa free, which has always been confusing to me, they mean free of having to pay for a visa, but you still have to have a visa for those of you. But if you are of West African descent and you have a West African passport, then you don't need a visa. So you just use that to enter the country of Ghana, which is what I do consistently. And then I did say all expenses paid. I do want to clarify, because I kept saying that. It is everything that's covered under the itinerary. So the meals that are covered under the itinerary. But if you go outside of what's covered and you buy those,
we don't have an unlimited budget. We do not have that Ross budget. I'm afraid I'm joking. But we don't have an unlimited budget. So you will literally get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then snacks in between. But if you decide that you're still hungry, if you decide you're still hungry, then you would have to cover that. All the experiences we take you on, that's covered by EATO. But again, if you decide to do anything that's yourself, then obviously you would have to handle that. But everything that sits under EATO's itinerary, we do cover. And then your flight is taken care for, and also your accommodation, which is, to be fair, especially if we have another winner from the US, that's probably the biggest spend, your flight and accommodation, just because of the distance. So it's definitely value for money for you guys. For us, we felt the pinch, but it's an experience we want to put out there.
Absolutely, 100%. And so whatever visas that you have to get, visa fees, those are obviously on your own. But yes, that's to be expected, right? Personal spending money, bring your own personal spending money for outside of everything we do. So a couple people just having some comments. Sounds like a good initiative. It's a great initiative, which is why I was so excited to be a part of this. And so, I think, Margaret, I'm glad we're able to do this together. I'm looking forward to, bringing Ghana and Sierra Leone together, UK and US together, right? These all together from this. I know. Maureen's already saying she's your next winner from the US.
I love it. No, but honestly, guys, I think it would just. I'm praying that we reach all our milestones, because then I'm also praying that we at least get one representative from each country, because I just think it would just be so nice to end the year in Ghana and it just be a group of people in the diaspora that have come together, and in other parts of Africa that have come together through this experience. And honestly, guys, there's no place like Labadi during the December period. There's just something about that strip. You just feel, if you actually go onto the competition page, you can see Tamara's experiences from last year. And that first day when the guitarist is playing to her, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. It's emotional. So again, I think, this is an amazing competition, and it's something it's not going to be a one-off. This is something we want to do annually. We really want to bring as much people as we can into Ghana. And I'm just so glad that now we're partnering with Joe on this. So it's going to be something that we bring to you guys yearly. And just spread the word, get as many people to enter, because it actually doesn't ruin your chances. It increases, because the more entries we get, the more winners we can announce. And that's the key thing here. Yeah.
Exactly, 100%. I think that's a really good, important point, right? Don't feel like you got to gatekeep this, right? The more people who enter, the more people that can come, right? You saw that we want to have up to 11 people come.
Yeah.
And so, which means we have to have a certain number of entries to make that happen. So we get that many entries, we can have up to 11 people come. It is randomly selected, but the more people that come, the more wide the potential audience can be of winners. So
and
I'm really excited for this. Okay, go ahead. Yes, please.
Yeah, and one last thing, because we are a digital platform, we will be recording the experience, because we also want those people that don't win 2026 experience to be able to see what happens. So that's just the only thing. If you're not comfortable to talk on camera, that's fine. But I just want everyone to just be aware that there will be a camera present during your experiences with EATO.
Absolutely. Yes, that's a good point. Because that's part of it, right? The dates. So a couple of things. So to be clear, the dates will be announced once we have closed the competition and we determine how many people are attending. But the competition does close on July 31st. So as of this recording, it is the 8th of June. So we have just over a month and a half for people to enter. So tell your people, Maureen, tell your auntie, Sierra Leonean aunties.
Hi.
Make sure that everybody knows that they need to enter. So share this with at least 3 people so that they can have the opportunity to come to Ghana. Come to Ghana for a trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, I think that's better.
For a trip of a lifetime. Okay, so with that, thanks, Margaret, for doing this. Maggie, I appreciate you. And I'm glad we're able to do this. I'm excited. So Eldercraft says if it's subscribed to you guys in different platforms, those tickets are mine. Okay. Well, yes, join in. Go to EATO.AuthenticAfrican.com. Let me take you guys to the site again, just so I can share it really quickly. For those of you.
Maybe show people the website.
Yeah, I'll show people this. That's what I meant to do. That's a good point. Yeah, it's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen. I just got in from Ghana last night. So I was in Ghana experiencing some of these things last evening. So as of yesterday, I just got back in. So forgive my forgetfulness. So okay, you guys can see the screen there. So your chance to enter. So you can watch the videos here to see what the experience was like. The details are all here, right? Your chances to enter will take you to a page so that you can pay. We accept PayPal. PayPal is the easiest way to do it, so we can do that. All of what Tamara experienced is here, so you can check that out. Details are all here. Open to the world, entry, how many entries to start, free by post. All the details are all here. So yeah, you just enter for your chance to win. So if you want to up this, you can up these as many times as you want, or you can just, from the main page, you can select one of the other options, right? So for 50 USD, you get 50 entries on this one, but you can do 2 of them and get 100 entries, right? So, depending on what you want to do and how adventurous you want to be, there are many options for you to enter this contest. So yeah, I'm excited too. I'm going to see you guys there at EATO.AuthenticAfrican.com.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you. We want to see you guys. Yeah, and let me know. Let us know in the comments once you've entered the contest, and let us know which one you chose. So whenever you get a chance, Eldercraft says this will be my big break in connecting. Yes. It could be. So let us know which one you sign up for, and let us know in the comments. I'm sure Maggie's gonna love this comment. That's for you.
Oh, thank you.
So let us know which one you sign up for in the comments below. We definitely want to hear from you guys. Whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, let us know. We're interested to hear from you. And hopefully we'll be seeing you at the end of this year. So with that, thanks for watching.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm so excited. Thank you, Joe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.